Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Solar financing startup Aerem has raised $2.5 million in pre-Series A funding round led by Bloom Ventures. The startup, which offers full-stack financing solutions to solar companies in India with an aim to help MSMEs to enable mass adoption of solar rooftops. Now, the funds raised will go towards growing its loan book and building out a tech platform, among other things. Joining us now to discuss the opportunity and the company's growth plan is Anand Jain, the founder of Aerem. Anand, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Like I said, you're a solar financing platform. So can you tell us what's the problem here that you're trying to solve for MSMEs?
Thank you, Arundhati, for having us on your platform, and glad to be here. Let me go back. Like, I've been in solar for about 12 years when Mr. Modi was in Gujarat, and that's when I started my solar journey. I used to be in New York with an investment bank called Lehman Brothers, and I used to work there and came back to pursue my passion for solar. So I've spent about 12 years in this space. What we've seen over the last 12 years, so when I started, solar was literally zero, just 8 megawatts installed capacity. Now we are at about, say, 50 gigawatts, which is about 50,000 megawatts. The sector has seen about $25 billion of investment and significant traction and growth. However, the one problem I and my team, what we saw was that the rooftop solar is not taken off. And globally, if you see, rooftop really dominates. If you look at any of the European countries, even in Australia, it could be commercial or industrial rooftop or residential rooftop. It dominates overall. Even in US, it's a significant proportion of total install. But in India, what we've seen is only the large scale solar, what we call the utility scale solar, has done well. So out of the total 50 gigawatts that's been done today, about 85% is utility scale, only 15% is rooftops. And out of that 15%, MSMEs have 15% is about 9 gigawatts, right? MSMEs, it's only about 1 gigawatt. So, and this is despite anyone who adopts solar today will get a return of more than 50-60%. And that is because, when you procure power through the grid, it costs you, for an industry, about 8 to 9 rupees. And solar cost about 3.5, 4 rupees. And there is the math. And it's just a slam dunk. It's just the value proposition extremely strong. And what we saw that globally, solar rooftop does well. It's in India, anybody adopting solar, it saves tons of money. It pays off in 2 to 3 years, right? And there is a massive opportunity in India to do that, but it's still not taking off. Yeah. And that's the problem we saw about a couple of years back, and that's what we're intending to solve with Aerem.
Right. So you're solving a gap over there, and you're helping MSMEs save a lot of money. Now, you've raised $2.5 million in a pre-Series A round. So tell me, where will the money go?
Oh, there's lots of uses for money always, right? I mean, as a founder and a startup, we need capital to build it out, and we're really thankful to Bloom Ventures to back us up, right? So first of all, we'll need the capital to build out the tech platform. So the scaling, because given that this is distributed energy and we're building a tech platform, requires significant amount of capital to do that. The tech resources, the leadership team to hire there, right? We also have an in-house NBFC through which we do the lending, and that requires capital to grow the loan book and showcase our product market fit and the proposition further at scale, right? And then the third is to hire leadership teams in technology, operations, finance, all of these functions.
Right, and you're on a mission to democratize the adoption of rooftop solar and build a better, greener and sustainable future. So how are you marrying Aerem asset assurance with financing?
Yeah, I mean, see, the problem today, I mean, banks very well know this problem, right? I mean, that there is a large, I would say the opportunity is almost $500 billion just in MSME space. If every rooftop today, MSME rooftop converts to solar. So there is a huge space, but banks don't do it because they cannot assure quality. So what we're trying to do is build a new asset finance class for solar, right? And that requires not just lending or de-risking of credit, but also requires de-risking of the asset that is getting installed. And banks don't understand solar today. And what we are doing is we're marrying the best of our ability and deep domain expertise on financing side and solar side, and bringing that to bear on the problem statement. And that's how we're solving that.
Right. So talk about your credit platform. What's the current loan book at, and how do you see it growing? How do you plan to grow your loan book? Also, give us a flavor of your top markets.
So in terms of growing there, currently it's about $1 million because we just got, it's just funded, right? I mean, and we raised some angel capital earlier as well, and through which we've showcased the product. And we want to grow this to $10 million in about six to 8 months, right? And build the loan book. And we are also, what we're doing is we're partnering with banks and just enabling their lending and then just do the AUM through our platform. And in terms of markets, we're focusing on India for now because India is large enough. It's $500 billion. It's just an unlimited opportunity, right? And so we're doing that. And within India, the Western market, the Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, MP, then we can go to Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana. All of these states are, at the forefront, and there is significant, tailwind for solar rooftop because there is so much saving. Then this value proposition is so strong. The adoption is happening, right? So all MSMEs need is the financing solution and the quality intervention that we do, and that's what we provide through our platform.
Right. So the focus remains on India, and that's where you're looking at. Now, let's talk numbers. What's the kind of growth that you've seen so far? Can you give us a sense of your current revenues?
So we sort of, as I said, we've done a book of about 1 million, right? So so we get about 15 lakh rupees sort of through EMIs every month, right? It's a growing book, and then we have kept capital aside for OPEX as well, right? Because we'll need to have a runway for about 10 to 12 months and build out the tech platform and sort of get the leadership team on board. So obviously it's early days for us and we're starting, but we'll soon be building significant traction through our partnerships also with banks and grow the revenue, the loan book, the revenues, and also the fee potential that we have.
Right. So early days at this point. But you're also targeting a 20 million industrial MSMEs in India. What's the potential for this market and what's the opportunity that you see here?
Yeah, so as I said, so 20 million is a massive number, right? Even if you just to do a back of the envelope calculation in terms of maths, even if all of these 20 million adopt 50 kilowatt rooftop system, that gives you 1,000 gigawatts of capacity, and 1 gigawatt is equivalent to about, or requires capex of $500 million. So that's about $500 billion of capex required, or the capital that is required to enable this. And what's happening? It's just an organic process. Today let me just give you some perspective. Our MSMEs can't compete with some of the Chinese because the power cost is high, and they currently pay about 8 to 9 rupees. Using solar, you can crash that by about 4 to 5 rupees, and there you can make them competitive. So it's a travesty that still solar rooftop is not taken off in India just because of lack of some of these solutions we are building. Or we also import, say, $120 billion of oil every year. The switch to electric vehicles, requires, again, solar there. If you start using coal power to charge your batteries, you're just switching or substituting oil and gas with coal power. So all of these solutions will require solar to come in, and solar is the primal source of energy, and that will it's inevitable that everybody has to adopt solar.
Absolutely.
And even if the climate, all of the top-down issues on climate change, the net zero commitment we have, right? The COP26 commitments. Every day you hear news on global warming, climate change side. So we come in there, we support. We're just not building a profitable business, but we also have massive impact on the environmental.
Absolutely. You have massive impact on everything around you with the adoption of solar. But Anand, we're completely out of time on that note, and we wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us, Nati. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.